So how did Apple just steal AI in WWDC 24? Let's talk about it. Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how Apple stole AI in the last presentation they just did in WWDC 24 like no other company could. And did you catch it? Also in this video, I'm going to show you exactly why WWDC 24 was Apple's masterclass in marketing. They're actually marketing a product that they don't even have out yet, and they're actually way far behind on. But it was a masterclass, and I'm going to show you why, so stay tuned. I mean, let's just be honest. For starters, this product isn't even available unless you have the A17 Pro chip, which is an iPhone 15 Pro, or you have an M1, M2, M3, M4 chip as well. And that's going to even come out later this year. So this is a product that they actually did a great job of marketing that they don't even have officially out right now. In my video right here is not going to be about the OS changes, all right, like iOS, Mac OS, because there's tons of videos that do a good job on that. So just, you can watch those videos. I mean, let's just be honest too, they were underwhelming, all right? I mean, there were some cool features, but overall, changing the icons or moving them around or changing the colors, Android's been doing that for years, and only Apple can make a good spin on that, right? People laugh and stuff, but now they have it after 10 years. Apple loves it too. There were some cool features though, like they had the math notes, they had the, you could text using satellites and stuff. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was built into there. I guess the biggest thing there too was like Apple didn't even update, iPad OS. We all thought maybe with the M4 it was gonna be a massive change, but there really wasn't a huge change there. Again, math notes and some other things. But overall, those are kind of underwhelming, right? But that's not why Apple did such a good job in this presentation. Not at all. There's something that's kind of in the back, and that's the reason why this was the best they've ever done. All right, so how did Apple actually steal AI from everybody else? And we're going to talk about this. Did you catch it? Well, let's just start off by saying, first of all, Apple's behind, like I just mentioned. I think they are. They kind of got late to the party here. But that's not the way that they presented it. First of all, when you started watching the video, Apple's taking the approach that, hey, AI is very, very scary, very, very serious. Like we all know, right? We're going to take a very planned approach to AI, and we're going to do it slowly, and we're going to integrate it in slowly because we're going to protect you. So this is kind of how they're setting the stage up, number one. Next, Apple comes out with the word Apple Intelligence, all right? Now, they know darn well that artificial intelligence, artificial is a really, really bad word in most people's eyes. They want to rebrand this, and this is the beginning of this rebranding process. So it's going to take many, many years. But every time you think of artificial intelligence, you're going to think bad. And every time you think of Apple Intelligence, you're going to think good. And this is what they're going to start doing here. So they're actually starting to separate the two terms and separate how they're going to actually work. Instead of going all in on AI and stuff like that, they're going to take a very, very piecemeal approach to it and really get you used to it first. And we're going to talk about this, but this is where they're going to start at. I mean, Apple knows a couple different things here for sure. And if you look at this graph from IGN, definitely take a look at it. And look what the number one listing is here. They're saying that people should stop trying, or Apple should stop trying to make AI happen. See this? This graph actually came out, this is from IGN. It came out after this WWDC. Apple knows that most people, just like this graph proves, they don't like AI. They want to kind of put the brakes on it. So Apple was thinking about this. Well, we're late to the party. We got some things going on in the background. We're going to come out with a lot of AI maybe next year, the year after, and maybe later this year we're going to start doing it a little bit more heavy. But we're going to get people used to it. We're going to spoon feed them because we know, Apple knows, that people are really, really weary of AI for sure. And if you can imagine, Microsoft went the exact opposite direction. They had that recall feature. Everyone's scared of it. I mean, you look at all the articles that are coming out, all these negative articles. I even made a video on it. It's really, really scary stuff. They had a person that looked like Dr. Evil on, I don't know who he is, talking about it, saying, trust us, you have to trust us. Nobody wants to trust any of these big companies. So this is where kind of Apple started noticing. And so they said, how are we going to spin this? Because we're late to the party, but there's a way to win here, and we're going to take this approach. All right, so Tim Cook then comes on the stage and he starts off by saying, Apple Intelligence, it's basically powerful, intuitive, integrated, personal, and most importantly, private. Then he says that it's personal intelligence. That's a word he used, personal intelligence. It gets you thinking, it's my intelligence, it's nobody else's. I don't need to go out into the wild, wild west out there. And then he says basically, Tim Cook uses another term, it's AI for the rest of us. Basically meaning, here's the separation that they're doing. Even though it is AI, Apple knows it's AI, they're going to say, first of all, this is a different type of AI. It's completely different than the rest of it out there. And if you use us, you're going to be safe. If you use them, God forbid, who knows what's going to happen. This is the brainwashing they're starting to do. And again, I'm not calling them out on it. I think it's genius. But let's just keep moving here. And like I said earlier, most people out there right now, they associate artificial intelligence, and the graph proves it, but there's hundreds of graphs out there, with stealing your job in the future, with replacing creative people, with putting photos of you out there that never actually existed. These are the dark sides of actually AI. And this is what's in people's heads right now. Robots, fighting robots, and things like that, and military stuff. And Apple's completely trying to erase that from your memory by this WWDC presentation. And I think they did a really good job at it. So Apple's going to basically focus on private on-device security that's going to be on your device, all right? That's what they're stating. Now, they've created these Apple servers that are basically, let me just see what they call them here, private cloud compute servers that are going to be off in the Apple data center with special chips that protect your data. And also they're saying that they're only going to use those if they absolutely need to, number one. Most of the stuff's going to be done on your device. It's going to be completely private to you. And if you do have to move data later, it's going to be basically none of that information will come, so they can't identify you, and nothing will be stored on those servers. So they're making you think right from the very start, hey, this isn't so bad, right? I mean, we don't actually have to give up our entire lives to use this kind of feature, this AI. This AI is going to be more kind of day-to-day stuff and not so much where we have to give away everything just to start using it. So Apple's really smart here. So they're starting with things that people are going to understand. They want to get the people's feet wet. They want to dip their toe in the water first. That's why they're doing this very, very slowly and concise, all right? So overall, they're going to be starting with these very, very simple and kind of happy topics that are non-threatening. And that's going to get people slowly used to AI in a kind of the way that the Apple wants them to, so that they can actually expand it later. So they start off with these really easy features. And if I read them off here, it says, like basically a way for more personal Siri. It basically knows who you are, but all that stays on your device. It's not going out to the, to the net and everything like that. So that your phone knows you. Siri will kind of, talk a little bit better, be able to figure things out better. You can ask it specific questions one after the other. Siri's going to know everything about you, but it's all on your device, so it's safe. And then basically they do other things like helping complete emails and text messages, proofreading, text summaries. These are all easy to comprehend things. And then creating fun emojis like Genmojis. These are all fun things basically, right? You can add more styles to your messages, and you can have these little fun kind of cartoon characters. They're not real threatening photos of anybody. They're just cartoons, right? And that's not bad. So this is AI, but it's just getting your feet wet. And then they have this thing called Image Playground, which is basically allows people to create AI images, but only an animation, illustration, or sketch. But they're non-photorealistic, they're non-threatening, right? So you make a photo of a friend, or you make a photo of like a little animal, it's going to come in a format that looks kind of cuddly and cute. It's not going to be these creepy things where people are making things of the presidents and stuff like that, making them talk and do things that they never actually did. Apple's smart here. They're actually conditioning you and everything they do here so that it just kind of looks, hey, this is not that threatening. Then they do like a magic eraser feature to remove backgrounds. Google's had this feature forever, right? But they're doing it, and they made it a positive, but we want it to come, so that's not a bad feature. And then there's the image wand. It basically lets you circle specific images, and then it replaces the image with a kind of a better image. And again, a lot of times it's going to replace it with more of an illustration or a non-photorealistic image. It's really simple, but it helps you with your papers maybe, or if you're creating a document, and it's very useful. And then finally, there's going to be summaries and messages, priority notifications, reducing interruptions on your phone, and more. So very, very non-threatening stuff there, right? Non-stuff that is not going to really shock people. It's going to get people used to it because these are things you do every day anyway. So Apple's basically, again, spoon-feeding us all these very, very simple things. Now, Apple also understands that there's going to be power users out there, and they're going to watch this. They're going to leave bad comments. They're going to watch this, and these people are going to say, oh, this sucks. This is very not that powerful. But see, Apple understands that those people are going to use ChatGPT. They're going to use the more advanced models right now. They're not going to use this kind of stuff. This is not for them. But at the same time, Apple realizes that's actually the minority of people right now. The majority of people that use Apple products are actually just dipping their toes in the water. Like I said, they're very, very skeptical of AI. They don't like it. They don't like the term artificial at all. They think it's going to steal their job. So, by doing this, we're just getting them ready for what's coming later without them actually even knowing it. Once they get comfortable with this, we'll kind of move them to phase 2. This is the beauty of the model that they're doing here. It's kind of genius, right? They know they're behind with ChatGPT, maybe Copilot. They know that they're kind of catching up. But this kind of approach, taking it very slowly, spoon-feeding people, they understand that this is going to buy them time. And eventually, I do really believe that they're going to come out with their own models that are going to be this more intrusive type AI. But realistically, by that time, most of the people that actually are using it are going to be slowly more comfortable every single month until when they do come out with it, it's not going to be a complete rejection like Microsoft's recall feature. It's going to be more of an acceptance, and Apple's going to win there as well. So this is kind of the approach they're taking. And I think, again, like I said, I think it's actually the right way to do it, focusing on security, privacy, uniqueness of what the product is versus giving them everything at once and overwhelming people. All right, and then the last thing here is this is my favorite thing at all. This is probably the thing that a lot of people missed here. So ChatGPT is going to be available on Apple devices as well. So when Apple Intelligence cannot solve a problem, or they don't have enough stuff built into it yet to answer a question, you can go out and use ChatGPT. It's going to let you do it on Apple devices. But the beauty of it is, so what they did is they created a little, kind of a little pop-up box that every time you have to go out of their Apple Intelligence system to ChatGPT, it says, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to send the image to them? Are you sure you want to kind of leave the nice comfort of Apple Intelligence, all right? And what this is doing is training people to say, hey, wait a second, if I leave here, this is kind of bad out here. I'm probably going to do it initially, but it's worse out there than it is in here. And this pop-up box reminds people every single time they do it. So Apple loves this. I mean, they're thinking, geez, it's a training process, and eventually we're not going to, eventually we're going to have our own system, and it's just going to train people to stay inside our system. So when we are ready for our system, we'll put that in place. But right now we have to use ChatGPT to compete, so they're letting people do it. But they're having their cake and eating it too, right? They're basically going to use them just for a couple years or a year or two, and then they're going to, I guarantee they're just going to replace them all together. They're going to have their own model, and they're going to have this separation where they're saying, you're safe in here, you're not out there, that's rogue out there, stay away. And it's just a genius way of doing it because they're actively training people with these pop-up boxes, just like you would whenever you leave something that's going somewhere that's dangerous, and that's in someone's head all the time. They're going to still use it, but slowly but surely people will wean off that and go straight all Apple when Apple has the product ready. Okay, we're going to wrap this up. And at the end of the day, like I always say, I think this is a masterclass in marketing a product that they don't actually have yet. It's going to get people used to AI slowly that would never have really kind of wanted to dive full in anyway. And by the time that they're fully ready for it, they're going to get rid of ChatGPT and have their own system in place by that time, and everyone will be happy. So this is how they're doing it. They do it behind the scenes. They're really smart. And a lot of the other places are going to be scratching their heads, I think, in a year or two. You tell me if I'm wrong or right. I know I'll get a lot of hate on this because people watch these that love Microsoft, and I'm not going against them. Again, I just think this is a good way of doing it, taking this kind of stepped approach. But you tell me if I'm wrong. We will tell you. We'll talk to you in the next video. I like to do videos like this, like not everyone else does, right? Subscribe to my channel if you can. I do a whole bunch of product reviews, tech reviews, everything else, and we'll talk to you in the next video. Peace.